News every 15 minutes, weather every 10, and sports twice an hour.
Newstalk, KGVO, AM 1290 and 101.5 FM.
You're listening to Montana Morning with Peter Christian.
Fire danger for Missoula County bumped to high. Good morning, everyone. Montana Morning for Tuesday, July 26, 2016. Another spectacular day in western Montana. Great summer week. Skies clear. It's 57 degrees. Our newscast sponsored by Spray Green Lawn, providing lawn aeration services, fertilization, and weed control. Save 15% on your first application by calling 207-9273. Our top story this morning, Missoula fire danger moved up to high yesterday. Missoula County Fire Protection Association spokesman Jordan Copen explained the change.
We got quite a bit of moisture during July there, a couple days, inch and a half, 2 inches of rain in some places. With the hotter conditions, things are drying out pretty good, so we're trying to urge the public to be super cautious and careful with fire, and while still having fun, be super careful with ignition sources.
Even though the fire danger level has moved up, Copen said there are no new restrictions.
We're trying to stay out of restrictions for the time being. There isn't a need for it. Things are definitely not as severe as last summer. Last summer, we were really dry and really hot, and really early, too. We're kind of assuming that we could get some lightning starts coming down the pipe at some point, so we're going to be as ready as we can for that.
On July of last year, there were already fire restrictions in place. Copen said the fire danger for this year's fire season seems to be just a bit below average. A Poplar woman said her son was killed when he stepped in front of a man wielding a knife to protect his friend. Leslie Jackson told the Great Falls Tribune her son, 19-year-old Duran Jackson, was outside a Poplar bar Friday when the stabbing occurred. Fort Peck law enforcement officials say a person is in custody. Supervisory criminal investigator Ken Trottier has said the tribal and FBI officials are investigating a murder case, but no names have been released. Leslie Jackson said authorities have told her nothing and that the information she has received is from people who were there. She said Duran Jackson joined the Montana Army National Guard after graduating in 2014 and recently had worked as a ranch hand. A third person has been charged in the death of a woman who was beaten and burned on the Crow Indian Reservation. The Billings Gazette reports Frank James Sanchez pleaded not guilty in U.S. District Court Monday, as did co-defendants DiMarzio Suede Sanchez and Angelica Joe Whiteman. All three are charged in first-degree murder for the April 17th attack that left 28-year-old Royland Rideshorse with burns over 45% of her body. She died in a Salt Lake City hospital. The indictment alleges that Rideshorse left a bar with 18-year-old DiMarzio Sanchez, 23-year-old white man, and 4 others. Investigators say an argument ensued and Rideshorse was beaten and choked before being doused with gasoline and set on fire in a field east of Crow Agency. A bitter custody dispute has landed an Irishman, 50-year-old Patrick Powell, in the Missoula County Jail on $25,000 bond for a stalking charge. Deputy Missoula County Attorney Celine Kepke asked Judge Marie Anderson for $50,000 bail.
The defendant has continually violated the order of protection in this case. The rules set by the district court were clear, and the state believes that the defendant continually messaged the victim outside the hours he's allowed to, despite being warned by police.
Kepke continued to explain to Judge Anderson the reasons for the high bond amount.
There have been death threats in this case that he appears to be responsible for, and they're very concerning. They appear to be an escalation of his previous disregard of court orders. He was also convicted of a partner family member assault against the same victim back in February of this year. Judge
Anderson set bail at $25,000 and ordered Paulson to abide by the order of protection. Ordered Powell to abide by the order of protection if he's released and to obey the current parenting plan put in place by another court. You can read the charging documents on our website at newstalkkgvo.com. Authorities are considering criminal charges against the operator of a drone that hampered firefighting efforts during a wildfire near Billings. The Billings Gazette reports the unmanned aircraft had been seized after it interfered with firefighting aircraft on Friday. Yellowstone County Sheriff Mike Linder said the aircraft had to be grounded and the incident cost firefighters several hours of air support. Authorities located the drone operator, who Linder said seemed to know he had been doing something illegal. A spokesman for the Federal Aviation Administration says the man faces fines of up to $28,000 in addition to criminal prosecution. The fire, which began Friday, quickly burned more than 2 square miles and was determined 90% contained. Sunday, it destroyed one home and forced the evacuation of several others. Thieves have been striking vehicles at Missoula fishing access sites. Missoula County Sheriff's Office Public Information Officer Brenda Bassett has details on a series of break-ins this past weekend.
Over the weekend, we had vehicles that were parked down at a few of the fishing accesses. This one in particular was Highway 200 and Tamarack Road. And a lot of us, when we go put in our tubes or our kayaks or whatever they are, a lot of people hide their keys around the vehicle. Sometimes they put them in the gas tank, sometimes they hide them up on their tires.
In this particular instance, the criminals managed to find the keys to at least 2 different vehicles.
This particular day, there were some people or person who went around and found these keys and unlocked the vehicles, took several $100s worth of items out of the vehicles, including electronics, cash. There was some laptops, phones. We just want to encourage people to know that it's happening, and so if you can, think of alternatives.
Bassett advises floaters to either take their keys with them or give them to a friend during a float to prevent more break-ins. Law enforcement still looking for suspects. Any information can be called into Crime Stoppers at 721-4444. Authorities have lifted evacuation orders and reopened roads as crews contained a fire south of Billings that destroyed one home. That fire began Friday, quickly burned more than 2 square miles. The Billings Gazette reports it was 90% contained by Sunday. The Missoula Mavericks are hosting the State American Legion baseball tournament starting tomorrow at Lindborg Craig Field, but not before some pre-tournament festivities tonight. Missoula Mavericks board member John Jovitich, father of Mavericks ace pitcher Nick Jovitich, said the teams will be arriving today on what should be a spectacular week for baseball in Missoula.
The teams are all arriving on Tuesday. We've got an opening night banquet down at Karis Park. The featured speaker is going to be Brent Musburger. We're very excited to have him. All 8 teams and coaches will be down there for a pitchfork barbecue dinner.
Jovitich said the tournament will definitely have a positive economic impact on western Montana.
We expect 500 overnight attendees. Destination Missoula did an economic impact study, and they came up with a number close to $500,000 it'll bring into the economy in terms of lodging, food, and beverage. So, it will be helpful to the economy.
The Mavericks come into the tournament as the number 1 seed with a 20-2 conference record, and they're the favorites to win the tournament. The games will all be held at Lindborg Craig Field in the same area as the Equestrian Park and Westside Little League on Tower Street between South and Spurgeon Road. And of course, we'll talk more about that with sports here in just a moment. More than 1,000 firefighters are in Wyoming, battling several large fires in national forests. The largest fire is burning in the Bridger-Teton National Forest in Sublette and Teton counties. It's burned 25 square miles and is only 10% contained. More than 600 firefighters are on the scene, supported by helicopters. In neighboring Shoshone National Forest, about 490 firefighters are working on another fire that's burned 8 square miles northwest of Du Bois. And that's a look at Montana news. News Talk Time, 6:13.
News Talk, KGVO.
Missoula's official weather station.
Plenty of sunshine is expected today and Wednesday, but we do have the threat of an isolated shower and thunderstorm each afternoon. Outside of the threat of showers and storms, sunshine with their highs in the 90s. I'm meteorologist Brooke Foster for Missoula's KECI 13.